Hello dear students, welcome back to the lesson Medieval India and Political Transition. Today you will learn about Muhammad Ghazni and Muhammad Ghori. The arrival of Turks. By defeating the small kingdoms of Rajput kings, Turks built their empire in the subsequent years. The Turks defeated the Rajput kings and established their rule in India. Their religion was Islam. Arabs had made failed attempts to capture Sindh regions from the beginning of 8th century. Still, Sindh region was always under the constant threat of Turks' attack. Turks belonged to a nomadic tribe of Mongolia, a part of Central Asia who had accepted Islam. Alaptijin, who belonged to this tribe, established his independent rule in 963 CE in Ghazni region of Afghanistan. The battles between Turks and Rajputs started from his period. Muhammad Ghazni. Muhammad Ghazni ascended throne after Alaptijin in 999 CE. Muhammad Ghazni invaded India 17 times. The famous Somanatha temple and the temples of Saurashtra were destroyed during his invasions. Though all the Rajput kingdoms of the western India were battered by these invasions, they failed to face Turks with unity. Muhammad Ghazni succeeded in his invasions because of the political and military weaknesses of Rajputs. Muhammad Ghazni invaded 17 times and carried away enormous amount of golden ornaments and wealth to Ghazni from India. Though he did not build empire in India, his invasions showed the way to future Turk invasions into India. Muhammad Ghori, a Turk dynasty of Shansbani of Ghor region of Afghanistan, came to prominence and ended the rule of Ghazni dynasty. Ghiyasuddin Muhammad Ghor of this dynasty ascended the throne. He sent his younger brother Muzahiddin Muhammad to establish Turk rule in India. He is called as Muhammad Ghori by the historians. Muhammad Ghori started his first invasion by besieging Multan. He wanted to recapture the places of Sindh that were under the rule of Muhammad Ghazni. He invaded Anilwada of Gujarat and got defeated there. This defeat made Muhammad Ghori to change his plan and he attacked Peshawar and conquered it. Then Khusro Malik of Lahore surrendered. First Battle of Tarain. By keeping Lahore as his center, Muhammad Ghori attacked the plains of India. This attack was naturally resisted by the ruler of Delhi, Prithviraj Chauhan III. He defeated Muhammad Ghori at Tarain in the year 1191 CE. Second Battle of Tarain. Muhammad Ghori returned to Ghor and again faced Prithviraj Chauhan III at Tarain in 1192 CE. During the Second Battle of Tarain, Govindrao and Bhola, who were instrumental in the Rajput victory during the First Battle of Tarain, were killed. Prithviraj Chauhan was imprisoned. Muhammad Ghori appointed his slaves to take care of the areas won by him in India and returned back to Ghori, but he got murdered on his way back to Ghori. Political implications. The victory of Ghori had many major political implications. The political system consisting of small kingdoms vanished. A centralized rule of Sultan who had immense power at Delhi came into existence. As a result, the entire northern India came under one rule after Harshavardhana. First point, the political system consisting of small kingdoms disappeared, vanished, and a centralized rule of Sultan who had immense power at Delhi, came into existence. So, as a result, the entire northern India came under one rule after Harshavardhana. The system of administration was different from Rajputs. The Sultan had the absolute power of either appointing or dismissing all officials. The military administration was also clearly unlike the previous one. Soldiers were appointed directly by the sultans. Soldiers remained loyal directly to the Sultan himself. With the establishment of the rule of sultans, India got reconnected with the outer world, which had remained cut off from 8th century onwards. Now let us learn about Delhi Sultans. The first dynasty which ruled from Delhi was Ghulam dynasty or slave dynasty. This dynasty ruled from 1206 to 1290 CE, and the first Sultan was Qutbuddin Aibak. He laid the strong foundation for the rule of Delhi Sultans. Qutbuddin Aibak belonged to a family of Afghanistan Turks and was sold to a Qazi of Nishapur as a slave by his guardians. Aibak received education in Arabic and Persian languages and was also trained in archery, horse riding and soldering. Muhammad Ghori, who was the governor of Ghazni, purchased him as his slave. Aibak attracted the attention of Muhammad Ghori by his bravery. He became the overseer of attacks on India after the Second Battle of Tarain. He became the successor of northern India during the period of Muhammad Ghori. He ruled independently after the death of Muhammad Ghori. Qutbuddin Aibak built Fawat-ul-Islam Mosque in Delhi. He also started building Qutub Minar there itself. Scholars like Nizami and Pak-e-Mudabbir were in his court. A work named Tajul Masir provides information about Aibak. The next king who succeeded the throne was Iltutmish. Iltutmish belonged to Ilbari family and was a slave to Qutbuddin Aibak. He was the administrator of Gwalior and became the successor of Qutbuddin Aibak. Ghazni's king Tajuddin Eldos and Sindh's king Naziruddin Kabacha could not tolerate the ascendance of Iltutmish as the Sultan, so they revolted against him. Iltutmish defeated them and then conquered Ranthambore, Mandora, Gwalior, Pilsa, Ajmer, Benares and Kannauj. Mongolians invaded India for the first time under the leadership of Genghis Khan. Iltutmish made them to retreat successfully. These achievements of Iltutmish made the Caliph of Baghdad to issue a letter bestowing administrative power to him. Now let us learn about the administrative reforms of Iltutmish. Iltutmish divided his kingdom into iqtas and appointed iqtadas to run administration. Iltutmish divided his kingdom into provinces named iqtas and appointed provincial officers named iqtadas to run the administration. He appointed a group of 40 sardars to advise him in administrative issues. Prime Minister and judges also used to advise him. Iltutmish brought gold and silver coins into circulation. He completed the construction of Qutub Minar, which Qutbuddin had started to build during his time. Razia Sultana. As Iltutmish's son was incompetent, his daughter Razia Begum became his successor. Razia Begum was the first woman to ascend Delhi's throne. She earned the title of Sultana and participated in battles dressing as a man. She established her rule from Sindh to Bengal. The provincial officials, who were unable to tolerate her rule, revolted against her and killed her. Ghiyasuddin Balban. After becoming the Sultan, Balban controlled the misrule of disobedient Turkish sardars. He destroyed the Turkish Sardar's evil group. He thwarted the Mongolian attack and ensured peace and order in his kingdom. Ghiyasuddin Balban implemented various etiquettes and initiated various traditions in his court. He wore Persian-style dresses and he declared himself as the representative of the god and enforced absolute monarchy. He rebuilt his army with the support of able military generals. In order to repel Mongolians' attack, he built forts along the border of northwestern India. The efficient administrator Balbuddin was succeeded by Kubat. He was murdered by his own minister, own wazir. With this, the slave dynasty ended. Thus, the Ghulam dynasty or the slave dynasty ruled from 1206 to 1290 CE. Slave dynasty was the first dynasty which ruled from Delhi. Thank you.